Hello, good evening, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Live in Conversation. I am your host, Daphnée Antoine, with my lovely co-host, attorney Daphnée Camilien. Hello, Daphnée.
Hello. Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday indeed. It's always a hectic Wednesday for us, especially the children going back to school. And
Yeah.
how has that been for you this week? Was it last week for you?
They started last week, but this is the first full week. They're okay. It's me that's like frantic, so just trying to get
Yes.
into a new routine.
Awesome. What is this week for me? It was exciting. I enjoyed it. They enjoying it. So that's awesome. I'm sure they're happy to be out and about, seeing people outside of the family. So
Oh yeah.
that's exciting. So again, welcome to Live in Conversation. To those of you joining us now, I am Daphnée Antoine with my lovely co-host Daphnée Camilien. As always, we do start with our disclosure. So I'm gonna have Attorney Camillion share that with you all this evening.
Sure. So disclosure is that the information that you're going to hear tonight is for entertainment and informational purposes only. I am an attorney. Anything I say does not enter you into an attorney-client relationship or should be construed as legal advice. And the same thing for René. She is a financial entrepreneur, and anything that she says does not enter her into a fiduciary duty with anybody who's listening tonight. If you want to reach out to us individually, that's no problem. You can do that as well.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So yes, if you are watching right now, you can see our title is "I Am My Brother's Keeper," and I guess thought behind this title is we're gonna be talking later on. We're going to be talking about how you and I can be supportive to various communities who are experiencing a few difficulties right now. So, being that said, if you all been following the news, in Afghanistan, in Louisiana, and in Haiti, there have been some challenges that you and I, if we can do something, we should. So before we get to that, I do want to allow Attorney Camillion to share with you all some legal and immigration news currently going on, and especially which may relate to how that immigration can be affected due to the issues going on right now throughout the world. So, with no further ado, Attorney Daphnée Camillion.
Sure. So some of the things that maybe for Afghanistan that people have been seeing, the implications for as many people probably been seeing in the news, the U.S. was trying to get Americans out of Afghanistan, as well as Afghani people who have aided the U.S., who have been given special statuses to allow them to come to the United States and to get a green card. And so how that, how it's kind of shocking how some people got left behind, how that whole mission, if you want to call it, was happening. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I wonder the effect it's going to have on other people in other countries where the U.S. has some type of holding and where they're having relationships with local people, and they rely on the local people for assistance in whatever they're doing in any mission. Will that still instill that confidence because people got left behind? They helped, what's going to happen to those interpreters that weren't able to come here? And the Taliban knows that they helped, the U.S. and U.S. military. The consequences, we can imagine what they probably would be. So, it'll be interesting to see the effect on it. So the other thing I wanted to talk, or did you want to say anything, René? No. The other thing I wanted to say was a couple weeks ago, the Biden, around I think it was like August 10th or 11th, 10th, I believe, the Biden administration, there was that infrastructure that was in Congress. Well, the big infrastructure was to, they need roadways and all these type of things that need to be repaired is a part of it. But part of the infrastructure bill, there is money allocated for immigration reform. And so it's roughly, what the latest I saw was that it was actually roughly $105 billion has been allocated, right? So that portion of the bill, the reason why it matters for immigration is the whole idea is that immigration, they're going to take this money and use it for immigration reform. And the Senate passed the bill, the infrastructure bill. So that is huge, huge, huge news. Then we also know that the House of Representatives will have to do their passing, and there's going to have to be a bill for immigration reform, how that looks, and an agreement upon it, right? So the exciting thing about this is a lot of people are excited because they're saying this could be a pathway to citizen. You say how? Well, the House of Representatives already had something in place where they already said that they wanted to have a pathway to citizenship. So the Senate already passed this bill, said, okay, you can have $105 billion for immigration reform. Now it goes to the House. The House had already said, okay, if we want immigration reform, we want a pathway for people who have DACA. We want a pathway for TPS. We want a pathway for essential workers. And we want a pathway for migrant workers. So that's a lot of people. And so if they're able to craft a bill and both sides agree to it, right, we may have immigration reform. So we keep our fingers crossed because this is huge. But, this is all an idea. So both sides have to agree and to the final product, and we'll see what happens. And then, did you want to say anything? You're on mute.
I am on you mute. No, I'd like you to keep going because it's important to know about those bills that can affect families throughout. And so with that being said, the more information that you can provide so people can know what potentially they can be looking forward to, it is hopeful. And so I believe it's good news that the money has been allocated, and then so hopefully that it can hurry up right, and let people know exactly what they can expect.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think people should be on the lookout, pay attention. If you so feel inclined, you can lobby your local congressperson who's in Washington, D.C., but there's representative in your state, and say, make sure you get that, immigration bill taken care of. And we want a pathway to citizenship for all these people. When people say pathway to citizenship, just so you know, it most people, because it sounds like, oh, you're going to get your citizen, you'll be a citizen. No, it's actually a way to get your green card. So, and then once you've had your green card for a couple of years, for 5 years, then you can apply for citizenship. But you got to get that green card first. So we'll stay tuned for that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was TPS, which is temporary protected status, right? And so we've been talking about that lately because Haiti was designated TPS. There's South Sudan, there's a bunch of countries that are designated TPS right now. And a question that I've seen come up is, should children who are here undocumented or who are overstays, and should they get TPS? And if they get TPS, right, should they get work authorization, right? So it may seem silly to people to give work authorization for like a 3-year-old. So let's say you have a 3-year-old from a country that's designated TPS. They're here. Their family says, okay, we're going to get them TPS, the temporary protected status. But why would we fill out work authorization, right? The number one reason that someone should always fill out work authorization, at least initially, is that when you fill out the work authorization application, you allow that person to get a social security number, right? So, which is really important to have here. Social security number is used for medical stuff, for, it's used for schools. When you file taxes, when the parent files taxes, they can put their children on their taxes as household members. These are all important things. So, having a social security number is very, very, very important. And so that is your opportunity. So people should fill that out. You don't have to, when it's time to renew TPS, if TPS is still, if your country is still getting TPS when after 2 years is up, you can renew TPS. You don't have to renew the work authorization. You've already got the social security number. But that's the main reason, is to get that social security number, which is very, very much needed and very helpful to that child to be able to navigate through the system of the United States, just in doing things in general. And like I said, having the social security number of the child is something that you as a parent, once you yourself has received TPS, that and you're working, you can put that your child's social security number on your taxes. So it's a really important thing. So people should really consider it. And it doesn't cost you for children extra. Oh, you're on mute.
I'm glad you shared that, because even that was new to me as well. So I didn't see the benefit of, children, needed in the TPS, and needed not the TPS, I mean the work authorization. And so for you to clarify that is very helpful, maybe to many people like me who did not know that. So thank you for that information. So those of you maybe watching later on in the replay or live, this is Live in Conversation with Daphnée Camilien and Daphnée Antoine. We come every Wednesday to share legal and immigration news, as well as way that families can protect their loved one, and as well as how we can help our community. So I will be transitioning to how we can help our communities. Before I do that, anything else you wanted to add, Daphnée?
Nope, that's it.
Awesome. Well, as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot going on in the world right now. And then so let's not forget COVID is still an issue throughout many parts of the world. And you know what has been happening in Louisiana. And so a lot of people right now are affected due to the Hurricane Ida. And it's time that it's an issue that is, I guess, affected everyone, because I've never been to Louisiana, but at the end of the day, I live in the US. And so, which means people in Louisiana are my neighbors. So if you have not had a chance to follow what's going on and see what's going on, so we will be sharing some ways that you can support people who woke up and just basically lost, their livelihood, and lost, many things that were dear to them, their homes. And unfortunately, there have been some deaths. And then so those are all losses, and definitely condolences to the family. So this is what's going on in Louisiana right now. So a lot of people, like I mentioned, have lost their home, need food, need water. I am being told that they're gonna be out of power for like 6 weeks. That's what I heard.
Wow.
So my power went out, like, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, for like as a matter of fact, as soon as my power went out, I just packed and then just went to my mom. No, we're not doing that. Fortunately, my sister was here. We were watching TV, storm outside. And then it was temporary. So we asked our neighbors, okay, when did the power go back on? They were like, just a few, maybe not. I don't think it wasn't even an hour. I wasn't here to find out. We're not playing that. It was hot. We're in Chicago. Like that. I think like it was last week. I don't remember. Maybe end of last week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, It was a hot week in Chicago. No, we're not doing that. So definitely, even though I'm laughing about my personal situation,
Right.
but
No,
there is no laughing matter
no, it's
for
not.
Louisiana. And then so that's why I'm encouraging you all to find ways to help. I'm gonna be sharing one organization with you all. Definitely do your own research, do what's comfortable for you. If you want to reach out to specific people, do that. But the information I'm sharing, I don't have no affiliation with the organization. And then so again, do your own research. I know they are there. I know they are trying to fill up a truck with food and other items so that they can distribute to people who need it there. So the organization name is Convoy of Hope. I'm gonna share the website in a few minutes. And then so Convoy of Hope is international, and so many people, as Antoine Camilien was stating, that is affected due to the U.S. withdrawing from Afghanistan, and families who were fortunate enough to be able to escape or leave, eventually they will need our help because they are new to the country. They're gonna need necessities that are gonna help them, to continue on with their lives. And you may not know, but typically when somebody have to escape a country, they leave with nothing.
Nice.
Nothing. And I was reading an article where you can't even access the ATM. I heard there's a huge chaos in the ATM where people are waiting for like hours to just get to the ATM, and there's violence. And then some people have been there since 6 in the morning and then
Wow.
till noon and still not be able to access the money. And then the thing is, I think they were only allowing them to withdraw $200.
Wow.
Imagine you waking up so early in the morning, 6 in the a.m., and then stay and wait for the ATM till noon, and then still not and be able to go home empty-handed.
Right. Right. Wow.
Okay, so I worked in banking, and I know no customer
Right.
will stand for that. So definitely look on your communities. I'm in Chicago, NY just park. We're like the United Nations in Rogers Park.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many different communities. I'm sure if you want to reach out to an organization who help people from Afghanistan, I'm sure you will find that. Either Google search again, or you can visit convoyofhope.org. I will put the link um, on the comments. So if that's something that you are interested in, you can do that. So last but not least, my thick accent by now should tell you that I was not born here. So I was born in Haiti. But then if you've been watching the news, you can see that there was a huge earthquake that impacted Haiti on August 14th. So people are still kind of in need of different necessities to help them move on with their lives. And then if you've been watching the news, you will know that Haiti has had several issues throughout this past decades. So this is one thing on top of another. So I've always been going to Haiti. I've always been able to help however I can. I felt that this time it was necessary for me to go to do something in a major scale, because I don't think benevolence work, I don't like to call it charity. Like I'm like I call it benevolence work, should be a way to help people to stand on their 2 feet, like to help to teach people how to fish, versus going to Haiti and either send a food kit, which we are doing. I'm happy to say that we've sent some money already to do food kits for people who are impacted by the earthquake. So I will soon give you or show you all pictures. We're supposed to have a food distribution this Saturday and another one next week. So we are doing immediate, you know, response on food need and hygiene need. But people need a sustained way to be able to get their lives moving forward and not always have to wait on charity, quote unquote. So with that being said, I'm excited to say I am planning a mission trip where we want to focus on education. We want to focus on helping young adults learn a trade so that they can become entrepreneur or so that they can find employment. As well as we want to help people who maybe want to start a business but who don't have the funds. Like you and I, we can go to a bank, and some of us may have access to some funds. There's so many different programs that we are privileged here to take advantage of in the US, but that's not always the case in Haiti. So this is an opportunity to tell someone that I know you want to stand on your 2 feet. I know that you just need a little extra push. Let me help you do that so that you can then help somebody else, because the more we help people become entrepreneur, we help people to start businesses, the more that they can employ different people, and the more that they can have the necessary fund to educate themselves as well as educate their loved ones. So this is what we plan to do on the core of the mission. So I discuss school tuitions for young children, and then a teaching people, giving people access to learn a trade, as well as helping business owners get access to microloans to either fund a startup business, or as well as maybe they started a business and then the earthquake happened and destroyed it. So we need to help them, revitalize that business. So that's what we want to do. And obviously, we will help some families with food kits. We will help some family with hygiene kits. It's gonna be around Christmas time. We will give children Christmas toys, but then the main programs are just those three programs. I will be sharing more information in the coming days, but then this is what I wanted to share with you all this evening. And so, if that's something you want to partner with me, definitely reach out to me via Messenger, or you can email me. I will have that on the link as well. It is 9:07. Anything you want to add, Daphne?
No, just looking forward to more information on the trip, the mission trip.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for all that you do for the community, for always coming every Wednesday to share this information that many of us may not know. And then for you to do that says a lot about your generosity and toward the community and toward, I would say, the immigration community as well, overall, not just Haiti. So with that being said, thank you to all of you for being live in conversation with us. We appreciate you. Feel free to leave us any comments, any questions. Be more than happy to answer those for you. That's it for today. I'm signing out.
Bye.
Daphnée, René, Antoine, and Daphnée Camilien signing out. See you next Wednesday.
See you
Bye
next
for now.